This is the bench press portion of our presentation. Now, the second part of any powerlifting meet is the bench press. Now, if you go to any gym and all that, most people won't ask you, if they ask you how strong you are, they won't ask you what your squat is, they won't ask you how much you can deadlift, they'll ask you how much can you bench. The bench press probably is one of the most popular exercises in any gym. So today we're going to go over the basic fundamentals of how to set up for the bench press in any gym. If you look at this, this is your basic bench press apparatus. Most of the time it's between 16 and 18 inches tall. It has adjustable height racks where you can put the bar because, well, as we pointed out in the squat segment, not everybody's built the same. Not everybody has the same arm lengths and all that, so you have to be able to adjust how high you can take the bar off. So let's go through all this. Okay, when you first get set up for the bench, one of the first things you have to set up is where your feet should be, is your butt on the bench, where your eyes should be, where your hand grip is and all that. When you do a bench press, where should your hands be on the bar? All right, if your hands are too in close, your elbows are going to be too far in and all that, you're going to be using too much tricep, too much front delts, and not enough chest. If your arms are up here too high, you're going to be working too much of the upper chest muscles, which is okay, but what part of the chest are you trying to work anyway? Are you going to work the upper part of the chest? Are you going to work the lower part of the chest? Where is the bar supposed to hit on your chest? So there's a lot of things in here what are you trying to work on most of all? If your hands are too far out on the bar, you're going to be putting too much stress on the shoulder. So we have a lot of things we got to work on. So let's start off with first. So when you're on the bench, where should you be? The first thing you got to do is, when you're lying on this bench, is you got to line up your eyes with the bar right here. Your eyes should be either even with the bar or just slightly in front of the bar. Where should your feet be? You don't want your feet too far out here. You don't want your feet too far back with your feet off the ground. Your feet should be flat on the ground because when you take this bar off, you should be able to drive with your feet. Most people don't know how to drive with their feet because when you're pushing this way, you should be able to drive with your feet and driving through the bar. Believe it or not, it's just like a ground-based movement, just like the squat. When you're driving through the bar with your feet to drive the bar up with a squat, the same thing with the bench press. If you can use your whole body to drive through this whole body and through the bar, you can bench a lot more. So think about this. When you're driving through the feet, it's like doing an extension at your knee. If you're driving this way, keeping your butt down and driving through this way, you can use a lot more, you can push a lot more weight, and guess what? Produce a lot more force. All right, so if you got your eyes lined up here, you also too do not want your back flat on the bench. You want what they call a normal lordotic curve in your back. You should be able to see space in between your low back. Your butt's on the bench, and you should have some space in there too. Your shoulder blades should be flat on this bench. Not pressed apart. Not apart. They should be squeezed together and pulled down. All right, where should your grip be? Your grip should be when you take that bar off and bring it down. Your hand should be directly over top of your elbow here. That's where you should be. When the bar hits on your chest, it shouldn't be up here. It shouldn't be right about nipple level. It should be right below the nipple level and almost right below right at the very end of your breastbone. That's where that bar should be. Not down on your belly, not up too high, but right about there because you want to work the major part of your chest muscle. That's where that bar should be. All right, let's get set up here. Bar lined up with your eyes, feet right there. You don't want them you can get a little wider spacing with your feet because you want good stability. If your feet are too narrow, you're going to have too much lateral movement there and not enough stability. You want your feet a little wider because you want good stability there. Push out to the sides of your feet there, squeeze your glutes because you want good stability here. Think about this, 6 points on here. your feet, your glutes, your shoulder blades. So you got 6 points, 6 anchor points. 2 feet, 2 butt muscles, 2 shoulder blades. You're anchored there. That's where you're anchored at. All right. You find out where your grip is. You bring the bar off. You pull your shoulder blades down, squeeze them together, take a big grip, squeeze your shoulder blades. And also too, why do we squeeze our shoulder blades together? Because it raises our chest up and decreases the distance that we have to travel to bring the bar down. The less distance traveled, guess what? The less stress on our shoulders. When we squeeze our shoulder blades together, it positions our shoulder joint in the right place. Take a big breath, squeeze down on our belly, bring the bar down to that point, and look here. The elbow should line up with the hands. Wrists are fairly straight. You don't want your wrists bent back here, and you don't want your elbows tucked in. Pull the shoulder blades down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, bring the bar down. Try to pull the bar apart too. When you pull the bar apart too, it activates the lats, activates the shoulder blades, the muscles between the shoulder blades, pulling the bar apart, bring it down, touch, push the bar away from you. The bar travels in a straight line. It doesn't go up and back, it goes straight up. Rack the bar. And that's pretty much a simple movement, that is. That's how simple that movement is. All right, let's bring Sean in, my assistant, and let's go through this again and go through each point of performance. Okay, we've talked about hand positioning and where the bar should be on the chest and what part of the chest you're working to take away the stress from the shoulders. Let's look at this now. If we look at the chest muscle here too, the chest muscle, or the pectoralis major, I know it's a big word, but let's think about it. The chest muscle. It's actually split into 2 different parts. We have the upper chest and we have the lower part of the chest. If you look at a bench press, it actually works the lower part of the chest or the sternal part. That's what we're trying to work. If you look at a flat bench, it works the lower part. If you look at an incline bench, it actually works the upper part. Now, it works a little bit depending on where the arm is located at in this, we're trying to work the sternal part, the lower part of the chest. If Sean's arm would be up here, he would be working these fibers up here. Think about, we talk about muscle fibers, think about, here would be the origins, here would be the attachment point. And think about all these muscles here, little fibers that would be little ropes, and they would be running here. If we would be up here, it would be working all these ropes, and if we stretch those ropes, these ropes would be wanting to pull that way. But if up here would be too much stress on the shoulders here. If this would be down here, as we see a lot of people doing close grip bench, these ropes wouldn't be working at all. These ropes here and this shoulder muscle would be working a lot more and be working the shoulder ropes and the tricep ropes. These ropes wouldn't be working also more of a stabilizer, just kind of holding it there. But we want to work these lower ropes here. So if you look at it between here and here, somewhere in the middle is the right answer, but don't we want the bar to hit right about his nipples or right below that? So if we want the bar to be right there, we would want, watch this. We put that bar right there. Now look at that angle right there. So that angle is going to be about 75 degrees between here and here. So that's where it's going to be. So that's how you determine. Also too, you can determine if the elbow is lined up with the hand, that's where his grip's going to be. Now, depending on, once again, depending on his structure, you can augment or individualize everybody's style of technique or where his grip is going to be. Whether it's out a little bit or in a little bit, that's up to you, depending on the person and the style of technique. But this is what we're going to do here, okay? So that's how we're going to determine his grip over there. All right, let's turn this way, Sean. Okay, once again, go ahead and lay back, lay down. We're going to line Sean's eyes up with the bar. So he's got to scoot this way. A little bit more. Okay, right there. Once again, 6 points of contact. 2 feet, 2 glutes, 2 shoulder blades. All right, if we look here, arch your back just a little bit. So we should feel some space right in here. See this? We don't want his back pushed down. We've had people in the past tell you, push your low back down. That's not good. You don't want that. You want a normal lordotic curve in the back, a normal curve in the back. Like when you're standing up, you have a normal curve. You don't want that. You want this. And that's what we're going to have here. For the average person, a normal curve. All right. Now, if we look right here, go ahead and give me your hand, Sean. If we've got the bar, it's going to come right to here. I'm going to come down right there and see that's where his hand should be. And the way I do this is just come back and put his hand about right there. So we're going to do that. We're going to adjust his hand right about where these lines are. If you look at each bar is going to be different too. Some bars have 3 little lines on them. Some bars only have 1, and the lines are going to be in different places. Just find out once you set the bar on his chest, you can figure out where you can put his hands. Okay? Now go ahead and sit up again. Here's how I'm going to show you how to do something again. Once you get the hands done, now I want Sean to do this. Go ahead and I'm going to shrug your shoulders up, pull them down. Get your clients to learn how to do this. Shrug up, shrug down. Pull the shoulder blades down. Now I want you to squeeze them together. You got to learn how to pull them up and down and then squeeze them together. Now I want you to put your arms out in front of you. Okay, pull your shoulder blades up, pull them down, squeeze them together. Now pull your chest up. Now see how his chest rose like that? We're going to do that laying down too. Go ahead and do that. Now, just go ahead and do that again. But no, put your hands up in the air. Now, pull your shoulder blades up, pull them down. Now pull them this way. Pull your chest up. Now if you look at that, his chest rose up. One of the reasons we do that, if he pulls his chest up, it raises up. So he has less distance to travel, bringing the bar down, bring the bar up. It also puts the chest like a rubber band. It loads it, so it makes it's like a rubber band and pulling it tight. So it stores energy. That's good for here because once he brings the bar down, it releases the energy, develops more force. He gets stronger. Also too, when he puts those shoulder blades together this way, it puts the shoulder joint in the right place and puts it where this arm moves in the right place too and takes all the stress off of here. And watch this too. A lot of people in the past have said, okay, don't pull your shoulder blades together right now. A lot of people said if you bring the bar down to your chest, especially if you've got really long arms, the bar comes down here too far, and if the elbow comes past the shoulder, it's really bad for you. Well, watch this. If he does this, if he pulls the shoulder blades down, squeezes the shoulder blade together, and if he brings the bar down to the chest, like we're going to, his elbow is not very much past his shoulder. Guess what? If that elbow is right around where the shoulder joint is, if he pulls his chest up more, guess what? There's no stress on the shoulder. That means even with the heavy load, it's not going to hurt his shoulder. And all the load goes here, and his deltoid muscles, the muscles in the back, are holding his shoulder joint together. Guess what? His shoulders don't get hurt. So it's not going to hurt his shoulder. It just has to be done right. So that's what we have to learn how to do too. All right, so let's get the bar. We're going to bring the bar over the middle of the chest. Okay, ready? 1, 2, go. All right, now pull the bar over the middle of the chest. Pull the shoulder blades down. Squeeze them together. Big breath, squeeze out on the belly. Bring it down to here. Keep the elbows out, pull the bar apart. Touch, push straight up. Push straight up. Bring it down. Same thing. Bring it down. Right there, push straight up. Right there. Okay, rack the bar. Okay, that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very basic bench. That's how it's done. It works the chest, it works the front delt, it works the tricep, all in one action. You get a lot of overload on those 3 muscles alone, and it works the core, you push on the legs, it works the whole body, and it works the back muscles in a static action or isometric, and it works the whole body all in one. It works dynamic and isometric all in that one action, but you're getting a lot of overload here, protects the shoulder joint. Guess what? If you do it right, it doesn't hurt the joints. So final closing thoughts on the bench press about what not to do. When a lot of people are benching, you'll see them come up on their toes. So go ahead, Sean. They're benching, you see them come up on their toes. You always want your feet flat. A lot of times you'll see them come up on their toes and their butt come off the bench. Bring it down, Sean. Bring the bar down and arch your back. If you do this, not good. Now, it does put your chest in a very good mechanical position because it's like doing a decline, but what's happening to your back? Some good disc compression there, not good. You lose some basis support there on your feet. You want your feet flat all the time, and when he brings them back too far, you're on your toes, you lose force production through your feet. Not a good thing, okay? Okay, now, here's another good one too. Put your feet up on the bench. This is bad, bad, bad. Now think about that. Go ahead and bring the bar off. When your feet are on the ground, put your feet on the ground first. Okay, tighten up a lot. Now see how firm, see how tight he is there? No lateral movement at all. Go ahead and put your feet up on the bench. Think about it, you got a heavy weight on that bench. Look how unstable he is. This is a very dangerous movement. You have to slow the movement down and all that. He's really unstable. Not a good movement. I don't care what they say, not a good movement. All right, another bad one. Put your legs down. Go ahead and rack it. Bring your hands in real close. Okay, go ahead and bring them in. Bring it down. Now, if you look at that, his elbows are coming out to the side this way. Now, this is supposed to be a tricep exercise, but ladies and gentlemen, when your elbows are in this way and you're going in this plane of motion here, this is good for the tricep. But as soon as your elbows start doing this, it's internal rotation at the shoulder and all the stress goes right to there. That's not good. You want to keep everything in a straight line here. That's good for the tricep and the shoulders, but not when it's internally rotated, but all the stress goes there. And that could really, really injure your shoulders. Okay, go ahead, Sean, push it straight up. If you're going to do this, make sure the elbows are tucked in. Bring your hands out. Keep the elbows tucked in. Go straight down and up. That's a much better way to do it. Okay, go ahead and rack the bar. Thanks a lot. If you keep these key points of performance, you won't get injured and you'll see your bench press and your strength go up dramatically. Thanks a lot.